Vincent, good to see you.
Hey, good to see you too, Andy.
All right, thanks for coming over.
Yeah, thanks for having me here.
My pleasure.
I was hoping you could tell us a little bit about what you're doing here and how it ties in with Make Music Day.
Make Music Day. Well, I can do that, absolutely. We are in my basement workshop. I build musical instruments for a living under the name Mule Skinner Instruments. And since we've been working together on the planning for Make Music Day as part of the Randolph Arts and Culture Committee, I've been thinking about music and the impact of music in my life and really appreciating the various enterprises that exist in Randolph, different ways of interacting with the musical process. So to set that up, I wanted to tell a story about music in my life, just the impact of being a musician. And it kind of all goes back, well, it all goes back to a lifelong appreciation of music, but there's a key moment when I was in 5th grade in my classroom in northern Idaho, when the school orchestra conductor came to our classroom and said, okay, now that you're in 5th grade, you're old enough to join the school orchestra, and you can play the violin, or you can play the viola, or you can play the cello. And I'd never really thought about playing the violin before, but it sounded cool. And so I told my parents that I would like to try it, and they supported it, and before I knew it, I had a rented violin, and I was going and learning the Suzuki exercises and learning to play the violin. I don't think I knew it then, that was going to be something that I would do for my whole life. But when I look back on it now, that day, that moment that I said, yeah, let me give this a try, has changed everything in my life, to be honest. It has affected everything of consequence. Being a musician and playing in bands is a huge part of my identity. It's a big part of how I make my friends, how I interact with the world. Being a musical instrument builder is really special because I get to be part of that process for other people too. I get to have the joy of building a musical instrument that will help them to connect with their own muse, with their own musical process in a different way. And it's not uncommon to finish building a guitar or a mandolin for somebody, and at that moment when it stops being my project and starts being their new guitar or mandolin, it's not uncommon for there to be some tears, because it's a really special thing for a musician to get a new instrument that will enable them to make different music or give them a different type of appreciation of the music that they make. It's a powerful thing, and it's incredible to get to be part of it, honestly. So that's what I do. We have some other really cool enterprises here in Randolph that also have a really key piece of bringing music from whatever the song within to, out into the world. And we're going to go now from my basement workshop to another underground venue. We're going to go over to Vincent's recording studio and see what he's got going on over there. When we're done there, we'll head over to the Chandler Center for the Arts, which is another super important component, because that's a performance venue and gives people an opportunity to play music publicly and also to experience the performances. So the next few minutes we're gonna make those visits, and thanks for being along for the ride. Next stop, the Underground Recording Studio in Randolph, Vermont. Let's go!
Oh, hey, Andy.
Hey, Vincent.
Long time no see.
Well, it has been a while. It's been a while since I've been down here. This is looking great. great.
Thank you. Yeah, we've put a lot of work into it recently.
Yeah, it looks like you've been busy.
Definitely. Yeah, I mean, I pretty much spend day and night down here. I barely get to see the daylight.
Life in the underground.
Life in the underground, but I love it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Doing a lot of recording of local bands, Vermont artists, that sort of stuff?
Yep, that's pretty much been what I've done for the last 8 years and 3.5 years down here in this space. Yeah, all across the state, and the word of mouth has been really helpful getting the word out further, and bands that come in here, I'm super happy that they always seem to be happy with the product that they walk out with.
And are you like into folk or punk, or is there any like particular...
Everything, yeah. Wow. I've pretty much done it all. We've got a bunch of records up there on display, and yeah, you'll see all sorts of genres, as some of which you just mentioned, but...
Okay.
Yeah.
So say I wanted to record a project here, how does that process work?
Well, so I really like to meet with the band before the project even starts and kind of talk with them about what it is that they intend for this project to have, where they want it to go, and then based on that we establish how many songs do you have, and get that process going, and then we record over in the live room that we just walked through, and get all the tracks recorded, edited, and then I sit here and mix on my computer and get them radio ready, get them mastered, and then they're ready to be put on CDs, which I then help the bands and design the artwork and get the CDs ordered, get them up on Bandcamp for retail, and then help them release their music. So get some legs.
Yeah, that's cool. So a great way to engage with the musical process and really help foster that. That's really cool. What's the pandemic been like for you?
Well, so right at the beginning, it definitely dampened just a little bit. I couldn't do in-person sessions anymore, but luckily there were a few bands already that had sent me some mixing work, and so I could just do that all by myself here, and then a couple other bands that recorded by themselves at home, and so they sent me their files. So it was a lot of remote work that I'm still able to do now and in the future. But then, we started to be able to do a couple of solo sessions here and there with individual musicians, because the nice thing with the studio is you have this big glass window that separates you and the musician. And another great thing that came out of this, which I'd had different ideas around what it might be, but the pandemic really helped me figure out I wanted to do this live stream concert series.
Tell me about that.
And so it's called Live from the Underground. It's been going on since last August, every single Thursday, 7 p.m. We've got about 42 shows in at this point with bands from all across the state. We started locally. I just reached out to my band contacts, people that have recorded here before, and then the word spread, and now we're having people reach out to us. Hey, we'd love to be on your live stream show. And so we invite them in, they're ticketed, so that some of the money goes back to the bands, and we also donate 10% of those proceeds to Chandler Center for the Arts here in town.
Oh, the Chandler Center.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? I saw something in the paper. You did a cool project over there recently,
yeah.
Right?
Yep, that's the Coquette No Audience project. So Coquette is a local band here from town. They've been around forever. They grew up around here, and they were basically the first band that I recorded ever. And so we recorded 3 EPs/albums like 8 years ago, and so then they had the idea, let's use what we got right now, what we're working with. We can't have in-person concerts. Let's film all of these 3 albums live on the Chandler Center stage and film them, record them full production, and so that's what I've been working on over the last 3 months. And we just released the last one, which is up on YouTube, and you can also get the live albums on Bandcamp and streaming services. So
oh, I can't wait to check that
out. Really fun project.
Yeah, and something that couldn't have happened if Chandler Center for the Arts was up with their normal production of music shows
exactly.
and other events.
Yeah. Well, the exciting thing is it sounds like they're able to get things going again. For now, I think outside a lot, but it's great to finally get back into live music.
Oh, here.
Which is kind of what we're doing with this Make Music Day event too.
Yeah, absolutely. And the Chandler Center for the Arts is just down the street.
Yeah.
Shall we go have a talk with Karen and have a look around? See
I
what's
think
up
you should
down
see
there?
what she's up to.
Okay, let's do that.
Let's go check it out.
Okay. Hey, Karen.
Hey, Andy.
Hey,
Hey, Vince.
We made it.
we did.
Welcome to Chandler Center for the Arts.
Thanks for having us here. Yeah, it's only a stone's throw away from my studio, which is really awesome, actually. So.
Yeah, I mean, that is the amazing part of Randolph, right? Like, it's such a small community in terms of population, and it's such an enormous community in terms of the number of assets and cultural assets and, you know, amazing people that are around. So.
Definitely, exactly. Yeah, and the music culture is so strong here with the feature staple of Chandler being right in the center of it all.
Yeah, Chandler, this is a remarkable story that someone who loved this town so much that they built a love letter to the community that they grew up in. And that love letter now is a community, you know, resource. It's a community magnet. It brings all of us together frequently to enjoy live art, you know, performance art, visual art, theater. I mean, you name it, it happens here at Chandler, right? Like,
Yeah.
we're just this environment in which other people can express their passions and their artistic, creative selves. I feel like with the work that we've been doing lately, obviously we try to pack the hall, all 575 seats, with some major name performers a few times a year. And we have our New World Festival, our Quebecois Celtic Music Festival, every Labor Day weekend. But really, for me, the excitement comes with, you know, having young kids come in to see a daytime performance series, or having them come in to discover some, you know, musician group that maybe they've never heard live music before, right? Music has only been something that's on the radio.
Yeah.
And now there's a musician sitting right there, you know, in front of them, making something that seems magical, really.
Definitely. And then with kids too, you also offer opportunities for them to get involved and get on the stage themselves, right?
Yeah, so we have usually around 75 kids every summer in the Summer Youth Musical. We're expanding now to do kids camps that include performance aspects. Like last summer, we were working together in Imagination Camp, which was an amazing partnership with the Kimball Library.
Yeah.
And just helping kids find, you know, their self-expression, right?
Yeah.
Who they want to be. And then the other thing that we've been partnering with Andy, and, you know, thanks for all the support, the Liven Up series that we've been doing, which is casual, upstairs in a smaller performance space, but it creates a very intimate environment to bring in local, regional musicians, and you know, having them perform where there's no separation really between the performance space and the audience space. It's just one community sort of being uplifted by that experience of live music together. And the fact that we've kept most of them free or by donation, I think does have a broader appeal.
And so with the yet ongoing pandemic, you kind of adapted that a little bit, right? And so coming into this season, we've got some other things planned. Yeah,
so we Andy, maybe you can speak about this too, but we partnered on a Liven In series where performers performed from their living rooms, basically, and we live streamed those through the pandemic. Last summer and this summer we'll be at Fars Hill here in Randolph.
Great.
And that's an outdoor performance venue with a big stage and lots of room for people to come and be socially distant or socially near, whichever you prefer, as your vaccinations allow.
Yeah, it's great that we're getting to that point, and that's, you know, our idea too with Make Music Day, to finally say, hey, we're ready. We're gonna do some outdoor music and get the crowds and be with each other again.
Yeah.
Well, and I think International Make Music Day is a great jumping off point for the Randolph Arts and Culture Committee, because now we've pulled together this amazing group of artists who, want to see Randolph become a hub of ongoing fun stuff, cultural activities, making music being one type, but obviously visual arts are really important. And we have all these sculptures that we've worked into International Make Music Day as backdrops. And I feel like Randolph is really poised to be kind of the next little cultural hub in Vermont.
I agree. Yeah, I'm excited about that.
It's pretty amazing. Who would have thought?
Go us!
Yeah, go us. All right, let's go outside and enjoy some music.
Yeah,
All right,
let's do it.